Welcome to episode 48 of America in Crisis, Breaking the Cycle of Addiction. My name is David Hunt, and I am your host. Please set your DVRs to record. This show could save your child's life. Rockland Recovery is renowned as one of the most trusted names in rehabilitation and integration on the East Coast. Stands as a pillar of support and transformation for those battling substance use and just so much more. Today's guest is Jason Toms. Jason is with the business development of the Rockland Recovery Group. I met Jason at Woburn's Substance Community meeting. I was so impressed by what he had to say, I just had to have him on the show. Jason has been in recovery himself for over a decade. Jason has been the Boston Carpenters Union since 1999. He was a carpenter steward at Brigham and Women's Hospital and a delegate in the union before he pivoted careers to business development specialist for Rockland Recovery Group 2 years ago. Due to the tragic loss of his late wife, Amy, of 27 years due to lung cancer. Jason is now a widowed father of four, working in the recovery field, trying to help others that struggle with alcohol, substance abuse, or struggle with their mental health for a living. Jason is known to many by his nickname, Pug. Jason, welcome to my show.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate you having me, man. I'm happy to be here and represent Rockland today.
I'm glad you could come. I was looking forward to this for a while.
Yeah.
Let's start by getting to know you. Jason, could you please explain to our viewers exactly what you do at Rockland Recovery?
Yeah, I do business development. Essentially, I'm putting the word out to whoever may need the resources that we offer, but we do all outpatient stuff. PHP is 9 to 3, and IOP is 9 to 12. We do a lot of groups at the facility, and it's my job to kind of let the people know, whether it's the union clientele that I deal with a lot, the EAPs of those unions, hospitals, facilities, people in my neighborhood, different people like that would benefit from Rockland, whether they need inpatient first and then come to us, or they come strictly to us without the need of inpatient, and they can get well and fight their either alcoholism, drug addiction, or perhaps they're just struggling with behavioral health, and we can help them in that area as well.
Before we go any further, can I just ask you to explain PHP and IOP for the people that are viewing that don't know what the initials are?
Sure.
For first-time viewers?
Sure. Yeah. PHP is partial hospitalization. That's basically our full day. You'd come 9 to 3. Lunch would be catered, and we'd be doing groups throughout the day. You do a group, you get a break. You do another group, you have a nice solid lunch break, and then you'd probably do a couple more groups. You do get assigned a case manager and a clinician when you come to us. Case managers can help out with things like Family Medical Leave Act, stuff like that, and make sure you don't suffer from financial insecurity while you're with us, and you can be present and really process what we're doing at our facility. And the clinicians will give you like one-on-one time where you can really disclose some intimate stuff one-on-one in a room, outside stuff that maybe you wouldn't want to share, particularly in a group. IOP is the same type of level of a care. It's a half a day. It's intensive outpatient. And like I said, that's 9 to 12. We do offer evenings as well, 6 to 9. And all of our program can be done in person or virtual.
Thank you for clearing it up for us.
Yeah.
Okay, now, you've been for Rockland for about 2 years, correct, give or take?
Correct, yeah.
What are your qualifications for your position?
So I guess, I was a union carpenter for 26 years. I'm a very proud member of Local 327. And, it took some unfortunate circumstances that had me do a career change at 46 years old. But I had been in the recovery world for, give or take a decade. And I had a lot of friends in the recovery world as well. So when I chose to make this decision and go into the recovery world, I just kind of reached out to who, I had been told is one of the best in the business, which is Eddie McGrath. He's the CEO of Rockland. I've heard so many good things about Rockland before I started with them. And I reached out and I just asked Eddie what it would entail, what he would want of me to come aboard and do this job. And essentially, it was a perfect fit for me because I get to just be me. And nice. I get to advocate about recovery, which I've been very passionate about for a decade. And I did my research, and I believe that Rockland's one of the best aftercare places in the state. And now that's all I have to do is go around, be me, advocate about Rockland, and advocate about recovery, and watch people get well for a living. You know?
So how would you describe your day-to-day responsibilities at Rockland Recovery?
You know, Eddie sat me down, and he would like me to, you know, schedule a minimum of a couple of meetings a day. So that means whether it's, you know, making cold calls, whether it's going to hospitals, other facilities, touring other facilities, the more resources that I gain, the more in position I am to help other people. Giving tours to my facility, I'm always going to be happy to accommodate a tour if somebody's watching and they're interested in Rockland. You know, I'm happy to give out my phone number and my information to Dave, and you can get a hold of me at any point, and I'm happy to give tours. You know, I attend a lot of resource meetings, as we met at the Woburn resource meeting. I had one today in Chelmsford that I'm going to after this. So I really stay out there and we do a lot of outreach stuff too. You know, this stuff, this Sunday, right? Is it the
Fun Run is this
the
Sunday.
Fun Run is this Sunday
May
in Woburn.
31st.
So we contribute and sponsor a lot of events like that where we do resource tables. We give out literature, as I have here. And, you know, we just put ourselves in position to receive that phone call when somebody's in need. You know.
Okay, we've already talked about your past. You've been in recovery, I think, for roughly 10 years. What was it like to go through that as a person?
Challenging. It was challenging. You know, I grew up in Hyde Park, just my mother and I, and we had a great bond, but I got into a lot of trouble as a kid. And then there was a lot of stuff on the inside that I struggled with that I just didn't know, that I seemed like every other kid, you know. And then as I became a young adult and I got into the construction world, I started dibbling and dabbling with drugs, and alcoholism became a prevalent thing. But I didn't feel like I stuck out really until I was in my mid-30s. In my mid-30s, I felt like the wheels really fell off. You know, I'm gonna skip some gory details, but there was a need for me to seek help. And it was about December of 2014 where I had hit that bottom, and it says in our literature, you know, I got beat into a state of willingness, you know, and I was willing to do whatever it took. And it took a good friend that, you know, the God of my understanding put in my life and segued me to an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, and I finally participated. I didn't just sit in the back of the room with my arms crossed, aggravated, leaving there annoyed with an AA meeting that I didn't understand. I actually went up and I got my first chip, and I participated, and I got another gentleman's phone number, and I followed up, and you know, I felt like the God of my understanding was working in my life that night. You know, as soon as I showed the willingness to get better, and that's been my process. And now I've been really trying to grind, and I've endured a lot of loss and a lot of life stuff that could, you know, bring you back out. And I lean heavily on the 12-step recovery process of Alcoholics Anonymous. That's what we believe in at Rockland as well. And that's kept me sober through a lot of trials and tribulations at this point.
With all the temptations, peer pressure, and now with marijuana becoming legal, do you worry about your own kids trying drugs?
Yeah, I mean, of course, I think any parent would be amiss not to worry about that. And you know, you've heard things like it's a genetic disease as well. So that, me being an alcoholic, it's hard not to keep a close eye on stuff like that. And some of my children are older. I have a 26-year-old daughter, Alyssa. You know, she's doing her thing nowadays. She seems to have a pretty good head on her shoulders, so I'm very proud of her. I have a 20-year-old daughter, Vanessa, who's she did a year at UNH. She's grinding now. She's at UMass Boston, re-engaging in September. And my son will be graduating Dedham High School, my son Justin, next week. And then I have a soon-to-be 9-year-old. You know, she's the wild card. She's the one I'm hands-on with. So, of course, I think about it, but I feel like as a parent, like all you could do is equip them with the tools to deal with those situations, and then just trust that they're going to have judgment, and whether they experiment or not, if it gets to a certain point where they have an issue with it, keep the level of communication open so they're comfortable enough to at least come to me, and now I have the knowledge on what to say, you know.
I hear that Rockland is well known on the East Coast. How many facilities do you have, and can you share with us where they're located?
Yeah, happy to. So we have currently 4 facilities. We have an out-of-network SUD facility, SUD, substance use disorder. That's strictly alcohol and drugs. That's in Braintree, Mass, right near the South Shore Plaza. We have a facility in Quincy which is in-network insurance, and that is SUD and behavioral health. We have 2 more out-of-network behavioral health facilities. One is in Sharon, Mass. The other one is in Bedford, Mass. That's our newest that we just opened in December. We do have a detox coming down the pipeline in Kingston, probably within a year or so. And Eddie, my CEO, is also opening another facility in New Jersey, probably in the next 6 months.
So it's not cookie cutter. Each facility has different programs, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's tailored to your needs.
Correct.
Okay, what are some of the drug addictions that you were treating, if you want to name the drugs? I mean, is it cocaine, is it heroin? What's the prevalent people come to you for?
It's everything. There's definitely a lot of alcoholism. Alcohol is very prevalent with most people's stories. But, today there's a lot of fentanyl. Meth is taking charge as well. A lot of people, alcoholics do, partake in cocaine as well because it helps them stay up and drink more.
It's still around?
It is on a high level, you believe it or not. And but we do treat people who suffer from just marijuana as well. Like if you have like a screaming case and it's really making you disoriented, like even if it's on the behavioral health side of things, like, you have to treat that's a different route that we would go than alcoholism, where like I referenced the 12-step recovery process is what we really believe in terms of the alcohol and the drug addiction. But some things that lead to the behavioral health side of things, like the direction we would go with that would be a little different approach,
What is detox and how do you offer it? You can take some time to explain this so they get the true picture.
Sure. So inpatient detox would be a medical facility that would keep you, well and monitor your vitals. And, if need be, you would maybe have to go to a hospital first to make sure you're stabilized, and then you could return. And then they could slowly taper you off whatever drugs you're on while you're medically watched. And then at that point, they could step you down to what's called a residential program. And you could go to a different part of that detox and spend a little time just kind of getting your feet under you, attending groups, attending different things of that nature. And then my program is primarily outpatient, where you could do it from home, 9 to 3, like I said, 9 to 12 or 6 to 9. We do offer sober living. So if you needed to come partake in some of the sober living houses and then come to our facility from there, you could, or you could do it from home. Like those are the options. But the detox part of it, I think, is very important because we want to make sure you're medically safe, and we want to make sure that you have your legs firmly under you by the time you come to us so you can process what we're doing in these groups, because it's high-level stuff. Like my boss, he put together a staff that's really top of the food chain. If people were coming to our groups and they weren't getting anything out of them, what would be the point, right? So he has anything from street guys to high-level clinicians to published authors that do our groups, and they teach you about this process. And, inevitably it's life coping skills that we're teaching you. Stuff that would rock you off your axis in the past and cause you to drink and drug and make things about you. We're going to teach you how to deal with that stuff healthy so you don't need the drugs and alcohol to seek relief from feelings at that moment.
A couple of important things for our viewers that are just tuning in. Can you just go over once again the IOP partial day treatment, what they can expect there?
Yeah, I mean, you would come, you would do a brief intake on your admit, and then we would set you up with the case manager and the clinician. So we'd have you all set up to be able to be present in our groups. And it would consist of probably a couple groups and maybe some one-on-one time with a clinician. And if you're on the SUD side of things, it's going to be 12-step recovery based. And we're going to get you, we have a phase 1 and a phase 2 to it, where phase 1 is like an intro to the steps, right? And the census might be 30, 40 people, maybe 50, 60 with Zoom. It all depends on where we're at in that particular moment. But then once you get to a certain point in your writing, because we get you in a 4th step and you're going to go over some of that stuff with a clinician, we would advance you to a phase 2, which would be a more intimate approach. That might be a census of, say, 12 to 18, something like that.
And on the full day program, is that structured, or is there any me time other than during lunch? Or do you have it step by step, hour by hour, pre-planned for them?
It's fairly structured, but it's also casual.
Okay.
If you need to step out, take a phone call, like maybe you're in your feelings and you want to step outside and have a cigarette. It's not a locked facility.
Okay.
It's casual, it's comfortable. We want you to be comfortable in that moment. You do get pulled out of group and have one-on-one time with a clinician. I pop in and out of the facilities. I might have somebody that I have a bond and a friendship with. I'll pull you out of group and have some one-on-one time with you, see where you're at, recommend meetings at night. At the end of the day, we're teaching you about the recovery process.
Yes.
But your recovery is what you do at night. And that's what I stress, is like we're teaching you about this, but like you structuring your life around going to a few meetings, getting a sponsor, a home group, AA 101 basically, is going to be the thing that keeps you sober. We're just teaching you about the steps.
Now I see you have evening programs. Is this a copy of the morning program for people that are working, or is it just a special thing on its own?
It's pretty much similar to the daytime IOP. It's accommodating people's schedules. Sometimes there's children, and you have the relief from the spouse at night to be able to go, have that time and dip off into another room and put an earbud in, and you can Zoom it right from your phone if you have to, or you can get in person. I do think in person, the more intimate approach is going to connect better, but some people don't have that option, and virtual absolutely can be effective. We engage you and have you participating through the virtual aspect as well.
Now I heard that you have a family program.
Yeah.
What is it? Have somebody in the family coming in with you, or how's that work?
That's a great question, Dave. That's actually open to anybody. It's not even excluded to just people that are family members of alcoholics or people suffering from behavioral health that are affiliated with Rockland. That's anybody. And it's a Zoom link that I could certainly get to people, and they could participate. It's on Wednesday nights.
Okay.
And they could participate, and I guess it's like similar to what you would call an Al-Anon meeting, where you just learn tools on how to show up and support the alcoholic or drug addict or person suffering from behavioral health in that aspect, and not enable them. How to love them, but not over-love them, and get them enabled where we're going in circles and we're not getting better. We want to give the family members the tools to deal with that as well. It's very important.
Now, speaking of virtual and Zoom, can you explain to us that you have a partial treatment program that's virtual? What is that? Is that Zoom or is it a webinar?
The partial, that's the PHP. That's the full day program, and that's in person and virtual as well.
Okay, it is in virtual.
Yeah, it's
so
virtual.
If I can't make it, I can tune in.
And you also don't have to commit either. Like, you don't have to say one or the other. Like, you can say, I'm going to try to come in person, and then you're just not feeling well on a Wednesday. You could just call, hey, can I have the Zoom link? I'm going to Zoom in today. We try to meet you where you're at. This isn't like a stringent commitment where you have to this in place. We want you to have the tools and the resources so you can get well, but we don't want you to feel like you're overcommitting and stressed out over joining our program. We want you to be comfortable. We want you to come in comfortable, come in with a nice coffee, comfortable, and relax and sit back and listen to what we have to say. And if you're able to be present and process what we're doing, we're confident you're going to get well. We have alumni meetings and alumni events where people who have come through our program are sober, and they have multiple years of sobriety, and they come and they share. Eddie makes sure we have constant alumni stuff where every year, you can bring your family to this big alumni event he puts on in Milton. It's dynamite. And you feel like a part of something with Rockland. It's like a family atmosphere, you really do. You feel like a part of a family, and whether you've been with us one day or, you've been off and on with us for 3 years, we consider you part of the alumni family,
Nice, I'm glad you cleared that. I was just about to ask you about alumni.
There we go.
Can you share with us what goes on at the Braintree Drug Rehab Program?
That's the 12-step recovery process.
Okay.
That we're going to break that down into the phase 1 and the phase 2 aspect of the 12 steps, and we're going to teach you about resentments and fears and inappropriate sex conduct that you have to unload, and you get that stuff off your chest, because it says in our literature, in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, as alcoholics, we don't have the luxury of carrying that stuff around with us, right? That'll bring us back out. So we give you the template and the format to write that out, and inevitably maybe read it to a sponsor, but you're going to be able to read that to your clinician and see where we're at, so we can get you into that phase 2 and get you really going. And then I use the term loosely, joking around, and then at some point we're going to kick you out of the nest, and now it's time for you to take what we taught you and put that into your own recovery in an AA meeting at night, and go help others. Go teach other people about what we taught you and about the steps. That's the goal, is to watch other people get well and the trickle effect that comes with that.
What can you tell us about your behavioral health program?
So that's a different approach that we take with the behavioral health. We do things more like CBT, DBT, family incorporated therapy, narrative therapy, art therapy. We really try to dig in to maybe some of the trauma that's been affecting you and causing whatever it is, like the depression, the anxiety, PTSD. You might be suffering from grief. I know I could certainly relate with all those things that I just named. And there's just other ways to go about it other than, even though the 12-step recovery process for SUD does address a lot of that stuff, this is strictly for people that maybe don't have alcohol and drug issues and they just suffer from these things alone. And now we have high-level clinicians that meet you where you're at with that and just give you these tools to kind of dig in and heal. Yeah. And then move on from that and feel good going after you discharge from our program, some tools to deal with in the everyday life. You know?
Now you have multiple facilities. What level of medical personnel are on your staff at the facilities?
So we have like the high-level clinicians that have all the abbreviations and they're able to treat you, but we also have a nurse practitioner there on staff that's able to administer meds and med management as needed on the behavioral health side of things.
Right. And how long would it take to get admitted as a patient? If I called you today and said, Jason, I have a problem, how long am I going to wait to get into one of these facilities?
You're going today. You're going today. It's that quick. There's no waiting game. I've pounded the pavement for 2 years. If you need it inpatient, I have multiple resources that I could call to get you inpatient that day. If you had qualifications to come to our facility and you didn't need detox, I could do a pre-assessment this afternoon and you'd be attending our program if you wanted evening tonight.
Wow.
Yeah, it's that quick.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Before they change their mind and decide they don't.
Exactly. You know, it's almost like when you get the glimpse of willingness, you have to capitalize on that because they lose it quick.
Well, a lot of people talk to friends, I'm going into detox. Like, what the hell are you doing that for? No, you need this. Let me give you another pill. You don't need that. I can calm you down. And then they talk them out of it. So you got to get them off the street and into the facility before they change their mind.
That's right. That's right there. Yeah.
Now, how do you guys get paid? Do you accept insurance?
Yeah, this is all insurance based. If someone didn't have insurance and they were in a position to private pay, we do accept that, but we take multiple insurances. There's not many we don't take. All major insurances we're pretty much in network with, so yeah.
And are you open 24/7 or what are the hours? How can I expect, if I was to call you at 3 a.m., I know I'm not going to get in the door at 3 a.m. Maybe I am, but
it depends. My phone's always on, and I take calls. I take late calls like that, and that's generally 911. I need inpatient detox at that point, and I can get on the phone and try to make calls at that point. In all likelihood, if you were in dire need at that point, I would recommend an emergency room.
Okay.
Right? But if you were able to wait it out, I could probably place you inpatient that morning as soon as.
Wow.
You yeah.
Now I hear you're also hiring. What positions and who can apply?
I believe he's hiring business development rep in the North Shore. And then, I'm sure when the detox opens, there's going to be a need for maybe case managers, clinicians, and other things like that. And it's RSS, which is kind of like, roughly like an intern that helps out with little things around and gets people to and from and helps people do intakes. So there'll be multiple opportunities when the detox opens in Kingston.
I understand that Rockland Recovery will have a booth at this year's Live Free Fun Run and Substance Expo on May 31st at Hon Pond in Woburn. What will you be offering? Literature, t-shirts, swag? What are you going to be giving out?
All that, man. All that. Literature, swag, hugs, friendship. But no, yeah, Eddie goes big with the swag. So we get hats, sweatshirts, t-shirts. We get a lot of good stuff, and the Rockland stuff is nice. And
you could hook me up today, but no.
I'll bring it Sunday. But yeah, a lot of literature, and so that someone could take it home and look through it at their leisure and see if it fits for somebody that they care about. Now they have a resource. I'm always going to be a resource bank, and I have, like I said, I'm going to help everybody. We take all major insurances pretty much. But if somebody calls me and it's a mass health insurance that we don't take, I'm still going to place. If they call me and they don't have any insurance, I'm still going to place. I have resources all over at this point and a lot of friends in this industry, and all I want to do is help. So whether they land at Rockland or not, that's to be determined. But I'm always going to help anybody that calls me.
Nice. I can't wait to see you there. I'm going to have a booth there also giving out opioid test kits for fentanyl to see if basically your opioid has been tainted. Not that opioids are safe, but it makes it a little better knowing that it's just pure heroin and not fentanyl or anything else nasty in there. I'm also going to be giving out tote bags for the first 100 people along with CPR masks. So come down, grab a tote bag. You can fill it up with Jason's swag if I don't get there first. So remember, you can come to the expo without participating in the race. You don't have to run to attend the free expo. Now, I'm going to get an open mic. Don't worry, we'll cut you if I don't like it.
Okay.
So, do you have any final words or comments you'd like to share with our viewers? The mic is yours. Camera's going directly on you.
Okay. I would just say, I didn't land at Rockland by accident. I've been in this recovery world a long time, and I've done my research. I wanted to work for what I considered one of the best in the industry. I came here. They've proved to me in the 2 years I've been here that they are absolutely in the conversation for one of the best aftercare places in the state. I'm happy to represent them, and I'm happy to take anybody's call and like I said, accommodate a tour. We'll give you more information if I didn't explain it thoroughly enough and explain more about what we do at Rockland. So I really appreciate you having me, Dave.
Jason, it's nice finally being able to get you on the show. I've been trying for a while, with our schedules mixing each other, so I finally was able to get Jason on. I kept promising him, and I'm so happy that you did.
Yeah.
For appearing today,
What's
I'd like
this?
to certificate thanking you for coming.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate this, buddy.
All
Much
framed, you don't have to worry about it.
Oh, thank you, Dave.
Well,
That's
thank you,
dynamite.
and I will see you on Sunday.
You got it, man.
Okay,
Awesome. Thank
and that's
you.
a wrap. I would like to thank our guest, Jason Thomas, for appearing today. As always, thank you for watching. Please share this program with your social media friends. If you or someone you know is suffering from a substance abuse disorder, you can contact the Mass Substance Use Helpline. And the number, of course, is 1-800-327-5050. If you are thinking about suicide, you can speak to a specialist at the new number, which is now 988, not 911, 988. If you are having a mental illness issue, you can contact the Mass Behavioral Health Helpline, and their number is 833-773-2445. You can also call NAMI, Central Middlesex, at 781-982-3318. This show can be seen on a rotating basis on Woburn Public Media stations and on demand at their website and on YouTube. As always, thank you to the staff of Woburn Public Media Center for making the show possible. Please enjoy our closing theme, Rise Above the Noise by Fireheart, through the credits for important contact information for our past guests. For America in Crisis, Breaking the Cycle of Addiction, I am David Hunt, and we are back.
Rise above the noise in the air. The sound not heard is what we bear. The whispers that I hear behind my back are those who never lost a child, a friend, so they lack a sense of loss, a peace that's gone with no return. Above the noise is how we cope, above the noise is how we learn. The most important things in life I found comes deep within the heart, the purest sound of those who won the fight. Now they found a life is true, a life so rich above the ground. We are people who care. Listen to the sound. Rise above the noise in the air. The sound not heard is what we bear. We are people who care. Listen to the sound. Rise above the noise in the air. The sound not heard is what we bear.